How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. We're back with another video here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the central machinery grinder that I had gotten from Harbor Freight. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this grinder and tell you what I think about it. I've had it for a few years now, and I thought it'd be a good time to do a little review on this thing and tell you how it's been and how it's been treating me. So let's get to it. Okay, this little grinder, I had bought it because I wanted the sharpener up here. I thought I'd use it for my knives. Well, I didn't actually use it for my knives, and I've been building the 2x72-inch grinders now, and this I really don't use at all. But this is made, it has a container on the bottom of this here. You can see this little box here. You can put water in this. And as you're grinding, the water goes around the wheel, which is, it actually works really well. If you're going to sharpen a hatchet or something like that, this works great. Now this machine is it runs on 110. It's only a half horsepower, but I have not really, it actually worked good for me. The power was fine. When I grind, I don't grind really hard anyhow. But as you can see, I put a wire wheel on here because I wanted a small wire wheel. And it worked fine for that. It worked good with the grinder on there too. But for me, I really don't use this grinder much anymore. When I very first bought the grinder, you think the first thing you do is just take it in there and plug it in and see it run. No, the first thing I did when I bought this grinder is I tore this box apart. And the reason why is because I wanted to see what it looked like in there and if it was greased or what kind of gears it had in it, or just to know a little bit about what's in this box. So let me show you what's in this little box here. Okay, if you want to get your box apart, there's 4 screws on here. Pull these 4 screws out. Not a hard job, just pull the screws out. Okay, once you get your screws out of there, open up your box and you can see there's a set of gears in here. And these gears are used to slow this wheel down. It's like a gear reduction in here. And what happens is when you turn it on, this wheel's going slow, and then your other wheel on your other side is going fast. It's actually going as fast as the motor, but this wheel here is going slow for when you're grinding. So you don't get hot. Your metal doesn't get hot. Now, when I opened mine up, when I first bought it, and I told you that's the first thing I did was open it up to see what it looked like and was it greased. And it was a good thing I opened it up because there was like a little speck of grease on there. I bet it wasn't as big as my pinky fingernail, and it was off to the side. It wasn't even in the middle of the bearing. So what I do, I get the grease out and I grease it really good. And that was the very first thing I did, because if anything's going to strip, it's probably going to be these bearings right here. And I think they're both steel bearings. This top one looks like it might be a nylon. Let me look here. See, that top one might be a nylon gear. Let me get a magnet here. Let me see if it's, I might be able. Yeah, that top one is a nylon gear. The bottom one is metal. That's a nylon gear because this magnet is not sticking to it like it's sticking to that one. So you got a nylon gear up here on this top, and you want to make sure that thing is greased, because it's not going to take much to strip that bearing or that gear right there, being that it's nylon. So that was probably one of the downfalls to this machine, is that nylon gear there. I didn't like the machine because of that. So we'll go ahead and get this thing put back together, and we'll get it fired up for you, show you how it runs. Don't forget when you're putting your screws back in that this one here is a little bit longer, you can see, because of that plastic right there. You want to make sure it's a little bit longer screw than the other ones. Alright, for now, as far as it runs, I think the grinder is actually a good grinder, and I'm just using the wheel on it, but I'm going to clean some threads up and just show you how this thing works. And you'll notice how fast this wheel goes and how slow. If I spin this one, it turns a few times before that one even makes a little bit of a revolution. That thing's kicking butt. Okay, as you can see, it does a very good job at wire brushing. If you wanted to clean up some threads or clean some metal up, you're not going to have a problem with this machine doing what it's supposed to do. The only time you're going to have a problem is when you get carried away and you start pushing too hard on this metal. You're probably going to shut that machine down. I don't think you'd have any problem shutting it down. But you know, when I buy a machine, I let the machine do the work. I don't try to stress the machine, so this machine will last me a long time. You wouldn't want to strip any gears or mess up your grinder. So it does wire brush good, and it would grind just as good as long as I didn't shove the metal into it. So as you can see, it's actually a pretty good machine. Just make sure you take it apart, make sure it's got grease in there. I'm not too crazy about that nylon gear in there, but the machine does work and it works well. Just don't push it. It's only a half a horsepower. All it's going to do is what it can do. So if you don't push it, I think it's a pretty decent little grinder. Now, I'm doing a few reviews on these grinders because this grinder I don't want anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll throw it on Craigslist or whatever, and I'll get rid of it. And we're going to be getting a new one. So this Central Machinery grinder, I give it a thumbs up. Just take care of your machine. I think it'll be fine. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment if you'd like. Till next time.